on, you guys? My name is Rage and we are back today with a Dark Dimension 3 guide and video. In my previous playthroughs, I was not able to actually record Node 3 just due to the fact that the video was actually corrupted. So I was able to re-record now during my second run of this and was able to actually successfully one-shot the node. So with that being said, I'm hoping to show you guys the gameplay today as well as walk through some tips and tricks for Node 3. It is the first node in Dark Dimension 3 that starts to give players a little hard time due to the buildup of the Miss Marvels. So hoping to show you guys the playthrough there with my 5 characters. We're going to utilize Ebony Maw for protection. You can see his gear level, power level, as well as the T4s I've utilized here just for reference. Next, he's going to synergize with Thanos. Thanos is going to provide that protection and energy supplementation to Ebony Maw and really kind of synergizing with him. Next, it's going to be Hela. We're utilizing her for Greg to soak up damage as well as her ultimate to cast away and spread those negative conditions to really give us that advantage during battle against the enemies. And next, it is going to be Emma Frost. I love Emma Frost because she can cleanse the negatives on our team as well as be able to blind. And as well, she's able to actually strip away the enemy positive buffs. So that's very, very fortuitous for us. And last but not least, it is going to be Minerva really providing protection for us and giving us that extra cushion, especially when we need to revive. So those are the 5 characters, the exact same I've utilized in my first attempt here. So with that being said, let's dive right into the gameplay as well as the guide. As for the placement, I do like Minerva being on the far corner opposite from Thanos because Thanos is going to be taunting, soaking damage away on one side, and then whenever there's enemies that die, he's going to be able to give that energy back to Ebony Maw while we have Minerva on the other end. So that way, hopefully they will not get attacked because those two are definitely the 2 most important characters on our team, especially to ensure that we have that overall survivability. Now, starting off here, you guys, it's extremely important to know who to attack. So in this instance, I am using Dutch Rudder's guide. I'll put in the link in the description below, but you guys need to reference this because of the fact that it tells us essentially when can we expect the next waves to fall, in addition to which enemies we should be taking down first. The reason why this node is so difficult is because of the Miss Marvels that stack. So that's why at the beginning, if you guys are able to, we do have to target down and take down Miss Marvel out of the cluster first, just due to the fact that if she has any of her young Avengers on her team, they get multiple strikes just due to the fact that she can actually assist. The other important thing to note here is that whenever you guys do get a chance to have a character such as Drax where he has all those conditions, you know, that's a great example of a time where you should be using Hela's ultimate to spread all those negatives. That way it applies across all the enemies and really maximizes the value that you get. But I found with this team, it was actually really great sustainability because of the fact that if Thanos is shouldering protection and taunting, it gives us the opportunity to use Ebony Maw and Minerva to really heal. And the nice thing about Minerva and Ebony Maw's abilities is due to the fact that they have the ability to actually scale with their health from the enemies. So for instance, you know, when we're low on health, we activate Ebony Maw's ultimate to soak up damage from their health. It actually can heal us all the way back to full HP. And that's the same with Minerva's ultimate as well. So, you know, those two really shine in Dark Dimension 3 just due to the fact that their abilities scale with the enemy health bars. You're going to find after some time of just attacking here, we are able to finally finish off Miss Marvel, and she's the first one that goes down, which is really, really good for us because that's going according to plan, right? So another key reason I do like Emma Frost is the fact that she can also strip away the positives with her basic. As you saw, I just took away that shield security's taunt, which is really good for us. Unfortunately, he does get it back. That's just how his kit works. So fortunately, he is nice one. He's a nice one to bring down if you guys are finding that he's getting in the way. But personally, for me, he is slow and tanky, so that's why I don't generally prefer him. But it really depends on how the luck of the draw goes for you guys. But following Dutch Rudder's guide, the next wave does spawn at 38 enemies here. So you can see in the top left, we have 41 left. That means we are able to actually take down 3 more enemies from this cluster before the next wave spawns. And the next wave does have a Black Panther, so that's something that we need to be extremely mindful of. With that being said, in this wave, I do recommend taking characters down such as Psylocke as well as Chavez because first of all, Psylocke has the ability to actually cleanse negatives on her team, so that works against us, especially with us having Hela spreading all these negatives, as you can see. So definitely Psylocke would be the next one I would aim for if I was you guys. But really, sometimes it's the luck of the draw depending on what the HP of the enemies as well. So as you can see, security does fall. Unfortunately, not exactly what I wanted, but sometimes the bleed works out that way. So that's the second enemy down. We can still take down 2 more before the next wave spawns here. As you can see, I just go ahead and just try to finish off Psylocke here. Now that Psylocke's down, at this point it is one more enemy left, and the personal recommendations would be either Chavez or Spider-Man Miles Morales, just due to the fact that Miles Morales does have some DPS. I find Spider-Man, he is a little annoying with his stun, but to be honest with you, he doesn't do that much damage, so not a big deal. The one thing about leaving Deadpool alive too is the fact that he can actually bypass taunts, so just keep that in mind. Really depends on your situation. Personally, because of the synergy that Chavez has with Miss Marvel, that's why I don't like leaving her, especially going forward into these waves. And once we do take down Chavez, we are actually going to spawn a Gamora, Black Panther, Spider-Man, and another Drax. So, you know, instances like this, it is good to kind of just gauge the situation and really try to strip away Drax. Always taunt whenever you can with Thanos. Reason being is because we can focus the damage on Thanos to kind of really set up the board here. But the one big thing here is going to be that Black Panther in the right corner. Once he gets going, and what I mean by that is him being able to take down one of our allies, he can actually keep repeating his attack. So you just got to be very careful. That's why you saw there with Hela's ultimate, I did spread those offense downs and slows just to kind of apply that on Black Panther. But he for sure is the priority in this initial wave. Fast forwarding here to save you guys a bit of time. Whenever you get a chance to, I should have also mentioned, definitely try to blind Black Panther if you can. That's why it's very useful with Emma Frost. And then keep in mind, you can also spread that blind as well if you synergize that with Hela's ultimate. That's really why I like this combination here. But instances like this where I see that 2 or 3 enemies are low, I actually activate Minerva's ultimate to actually finish off 3 of them. And as you can see, they do go down. So that leaves us now with just the Black Panther there. And keep in mind, this did actually spawn the next wave because it hit the 35 enemies, unfortunately. So that spawned Miles, Chavez, Deadpool, the Miss Marvel, as well as another shield security. So that's why it is important, in my opinion. You have to take down Black Panther in that second wave first. Unfortunately, just due to the fact that those guys were already so weak on my side, I couldn't get that advantage. But fortunately, with this third wave, Black Panther is really, really weak. So I'm not worried at that point because of the fact that he was already quite low. So as long as he's low and you make sure that he has negative conditions on him, we are in a good position. And with Black Panther down, I do actually resume most of my damage, as you can see here, just focusing on Miss Marvel. Similar to the first wave, Miss Marvel is the priority because of the fact that, once again, there's an instance in this node where multiple Miss Marvel stack up, and you just don't want to do that, right? So you can see what's really setting me apart and being able to manage these waves is the fact that we have all these negative conditions. Again, thanks to the fact that if you have slow guys like Drax, they're going to be able to hold those conditions. And what's nice is even if Hela goes down, like as you can see right now, I still have that chance to actually revive Hela with Minerva here. And I got super lucky here. If you guys notice, now I have actually 2 Gregs over there. And how that happened is because Hela died and one of the Gregs was still alive. So if you get an instance like that where you actually can revive, you can see that now I have 2 Gregs that are available to actually soak up damage. So Miss Marvel's down out of that third wave. Now we can actually just focus on picking off a few more here, because the next wave does spawn, as per the guide, at 29 enemies. Spider-Man here does actually naturally fall with the bleed, as you'll see on the top, on the bottom right here. And again, keep in mind, the next wave spawning at 29 means we can actually still take down 3 more out of this cluster. And again, it's gonna be very similar to that first wave. I do recommend guys such as Chavez. Deadpool is a good DPS one, as well as the fact that they also have another Miles Morales. So those are all really good additions if you want to take them down. But again, any opportunity you see there's like 4 or 5 negative conditions, as you just saw, Hela's ultimate is very, very pivotal in this node. I definitely think that it won't be possible to one-shot if you guys don't have Hela. Just the fact that she has those Gregs to actually soak up damage, and as you can see now, with me having 2 Gregs, it really does bolster our ability to actually protect our team and the additional healing that synergizes with Minerva when they fall. With that being said, here I do take off Chavez off the team, and you can see here I do actually go ahead and just finish off the security as well, just due to the fact that I find him quite pesky with his abilities. Now in this 4th wave at 29, you're going to notice we get another Gamora, that pesky Black Panther, a Psylocke, and a Drax. So you already kind of know where the pain points are going to be. It's definitely going to be the Black Panther as one of the key targets to focus. In addition, keep in mind, I mentioned earlier, Psylocke has that cleanse, so we definitely don't want her sticking around in this wave as well, or going forward, especially if she prevails and being able to cleanse and help her team. And as shown here, the key really is being able to spread those negative conditions, especially when you have 4 or 5 impacts such as blind, disruption. You can see even with them having a Black Panther, we're in great control because of the fact that we have all these negatives really giving our team a huge advantage. And again, Ebony Maw constantly having defense up because, like I said, with Thanos, his ability is absolutely beautiful. If the enemies fall, he gets energy, and there's a chance he can actually give it to his fellow ally, Ebony Maw. So that's really what we take advantage there. So with that being said, now at 27 enemies left here, that's only one more left until the next wave. So I do actually go ahead and just finish off Miles Morales because of the fact that it likely would not have been possible to take down Psylocke. You can see now it does spawn actually another wave here, being Miles, another Spider-Man, Chavez, a Shield Security, as well as a Drax, which is quite annoying. You can see that with these waves, there's a lot of Draxes. So good and bad. Personally, I do recommend leaving Drax because you can see the one on the left, how slow they are. They can actually hold a lot of negative conditions. And it works for us because at the moment that Hela has her ultimate, we can use that as basically a medium to actually transfer all those negatives back to everyone else. With that being said here, next wave spawning at 21, I do go ahead and just finish off weaker foes. So you can see that did finish off that weaker Deadpool from the previous waves. Again, though, it's going to be consistent with the previous waves you've seen. We got to take down any characters that have synergy with Miss Marvel, especially with her coming up in the next wave here. And one key character is going to be anybody that's weak. So Miles Morales, Spider-Man, American Chavez, they have all that synergy. And keep in mind, we don't want Psylocke to remain longer here as well. So this is where I do use an opportunity here. Emma Frost, I love her ultimate. She applies that blind, takes away their turn. You really do need to pay attention to any of the enemies that have their turn upcoming, especially if they're powerful like Chavez or Psylocke. By blinding them, it actually does ensure that we have protection as well. And especially if they don't get a turn, that's an excellent opportunity to utilize Hela's ultimate to spread those negatives. After finishing off Spider-Man, I do actually go ahead now and just finish off Psylocke as well, because again, we just want to take down any high damage targeting guys, and that's going to next now include Chavez because she has that synergy with Miss Marvel. Once Chavez is down, you can see here, I just go ahead and actually just finish off whoever's weak. In this case, Gamora does have damage, which works to my favor. And again, this next wave is very important because it actually is going to be the double Miss Marvel node here. In this case, it is actually the instance where a lot of players can get stuck because if you don't finish off these Miss Marvels, they can compound with another Black Panther Miss Marvel wave. And that's exactly why we have to be very wary of this specific instance here. With that being said, I did see that there was an opportunity where a lot of enemies were getting quite weak, and this is a great opportunity here, especially with Thanos being almost close to death. This is where I would recommend actually utilizing either Minerva or Ebony Maw's ultimate. I try not to use those two again until there's a character on our team that's near the brink of death. And what you're going to see here now is we're going to get a full regen here, being able to heal from brink to 100% HP. You can see it also took down those 3 enemies in the left corner there, and now it actually is at 18 enemies left. It actually did spawn the wave of Spider-Man, Chavez, and another Drax. Keep in mind though, the next double wave here with Black Panther and Miss Marvel does spawn at 16 enemies, and unfortunately right now we still have both those Miss Marvels that we needed to take down. So this is where it gets pretty problematic because you can see I wasn't able to actually follow up and finish off those guys just due to the fact that we had weaker enemies on board and they were taken out due to our abilities. And that is exactly why it's extremely important to wave manage and keep careful eye on your health, as well as who has defense up, in addition to who has a turn. So you can see here, at least fortunately, one of the Miss Marvels is very close to being taken down here. But you can see here, after I hopefully take her down, it is actually going to spawn the next wave, which does include, unfortunately, another Miss Marvel, as well as a Black Panther. And that's generally where a lot of players are going to have that issue because they can get stuck in that moment where there's just a continual amount of damage being done. And on top of that, we don't really get a turn in the sense that the Miss Marvels constantly have those assisted attacks. So as you can see here, I do go ahead, finish off the Miss Marvel, and as mentioned, you can see that there's a new Gamora, Miss Marvel, and as well as the Black Panther. So this is an extremely important pain point here. You can see that I don't have my Thanos up because he actually did fall. In addition to that, we still need to focus on taking down the second Miss Marvel from the previous second wave that we didn't take down yet. So I mean, that's why it's extremely important to control their speed. Greg is nice because he can actually take away the speed meter if applied directly. You can see I actually got lucky because there was a blind there, so I was able to spread that thanks to Hela. And that's exactly how we're going to ensure that there's survivability here, buying us time to use Minerva's special to revive Thanos and give us energy back to Ebony Maw to protect us. Now we finally have an opportunity here to actually finish off Miss Marvel. Fortunately, they were still all blind, but you can see I still don't have my Thanos up, so that's what's kind of creating a disadvantage here for us, unfortunately. But again, because of the fact that we had that extra second Greg, you know, he is nice to actually soak up damage. With that being said, now that the two Miss Marvels are down from the original, something else we got to be aware of too, that Black Panther does a lot of damage, so we need to now be able to kind of focus on him because we just don't want him lasting too long. Fortunately, he's not actually that strong. He's quite squishy if you actually start attacking him. So, you know, it still worked in our favor. And you can see now that Thanos is back on our team now, thanks again to his special, Minerva's special. Now we can actually even out the playing field. So you can see that there's actually another wave that spawns at 13 enemies here. And that is actually where the pickle continues from all these waves, right? It's the fact that we were trying to take down the Miss Marvels and that carried forward. This new wave here does have a new Deadpool, another Miss Marvel, as well as a shield security. So again, you can see that we got really lucky there with the timing in the sense that we were able to fully take advantage of Emma Frost as well as Hela's ultimate and spreading those negative conditions. You can see here that's really how it's buying me time to kind of survive, because even if I don't have defense up thanks to Thanos and Ebony Maw, we can fortunately have the blind to actually buy us more time. And if we get more energy back for Hela, you bet that we're going to keep constantly casting our ultimate. We finished off the Deadpool, and I am now just resuming my attack on the Miss Marvels because, again, there's two of them on the board right now, and the fact that they have assisted attacks is not good for us, especially if they synergize with Chavez as well as Spider-Man whenever they make attacks. With that being said, I finally get an opportunity here to actually be able to finish off another Miss Marvel thanks again to the bleed. And you can see now that that one's down, we can go ahead and actually resume our attack now on this last one here, especially with her. And keep in mind too, there is another Black Panther now that spawned that originally came up at 10 enemies remaining. So he spawned right after the Miss Marvel went down. So just keep that in mind. This is where it can get so dangerous because the Miss Marvels and the Black Panthers can still basically stack upon each other with their increased damage. And again, he's squishy, but you just gotta be mindful of him, right? Unfortunately, you can see that in the top right corner, those enemies are quite weak. We just need to land a Ebony Maw or a Minerva ultimate to really finish them off. And we do that right here. Thanks again to Hela's ultimate here, just in spreading those negative conditions, as you can see. Finishing him off. And as you can see now, we just have to take away the positive from security. But now, and then just resume and go ahead and just finish off this last Miss Marvel here. Yes, you can see definitely where my focus is on the waves. It's always going to be the Miss Marvels, because once we take them down, they can't synergize with everyone else. And then at this point, it's really just kind of finishing off whoever's weak, right? So Chavez is weak. Keep in mind too, we do always want to kind of blind Black Panther, especially with the fact that he can actually one-shot our team if we're not careful. Now you can see, unfortunately, my Minerva did actually fall, so I no longer have revivability. And as you can see now, it is actually just Thanos, Ebony Maw, as well as my Emma Frost. So at this point, it is 3 against 7. So this is where it did get a little scary for me, due to the fact that you can see here that, you know, right there, Black Panther just tried to attack, and we almost just lost everybody there. So 3 guys left here. It's looking a little scary, but again, because Thanos is soaking up the damage here, we do get lucky in the sense that I was able to use Emma Frost here. She has the barrier to be able to kind of create for herself and slow our enemies down. And with that being said here, we fortunately got Ebony Maw here's ultimate, and this is really what kind of did for me, because once I got that, I knew I was going to be able to finish this off. We go ahead and actually aim for Black Panther now, finishing him off. And really at this point, it's just finishing off anybody that's just weaker, as you can see. So it wasn't exactly, you know, the cleanest way to kind of finish, but you can see here that we at least brought all our guys to the very end, especially with the big 3 here on my side being Thanos, Ebony Maw, and Emma Frost. Unfortunately, our Minerva fell along with Hela, but you know what? They did their job. They were able to keep us alive thanks to their abilities, and now we just have to really kind of just strategically focus. Key takeaway points, you guys, as you can see, again, I do recommend following a guide such as Dutch Rudders. That's how I kind of anticipated who was coming, which enemies were that we need to take down and prioritize, especially when we're given only a limited number of time and waves to come, right? And then one next thing is just making sure that you're focusing on the key priority targets, because Black Panther and Miss Marvel, you saw how messy it got in the last 2-3 waves there, and it's very easy to see how frustrating it can get when you don't have a proper strategy and plan. Keep in mind too, it's actually, you know, always about team synergy as well. I think this 5-man roster is very, very potent, powerful because of how they synergize. We have good mix of protection and as well as offensive capabilities. On top of that, Thanos really does provide a lot of energy regeneration for Amity Moss. So, you know, that really did made it for us, especially giving us the opportunity to actually have that defense up. I didn't use the abilities there at the end, as you can see, because if you guys are going through these nodes, you do want to save your energy at the end, so that way you're ready for the next node. It does carry forward. So with that being said, as you can see here, that was my one-shot guide here. So let me just quickly show you guys here the attempt as proof validity for my attempt. You can see one attack, 54.46 million. So there you guys have it. Thank you as always for watching, guys. I hope this video was actually able to help. I wasn't able to fully capture it before, but glad I was able to get the one shot for you guys, and that way you can see kind of my overall strategy, what worked for me in terms of navigating as well as pushing forward into the nodes. Wish you guys all the best of luck, and as always, I'll see you in the next one.